beautiful people of the internet, my name is Ryan, and just this past week on Wednesday was International Podcast Day. And sometimes I listen to podcasts, and sometimes they make me feel things somewhere in here-ish. And maybe you should too. Disclaimer, I'm going to give you 5 podcast recommendations today. Not on that list is going to be a really big one. Serial. Serial was the first podcast I ever listened to, and there is nothing like it. If you haven't listened to it, screw watching this video. Like, literally shut this video off and go download that, because you should go listen to all 9 hours of Serial because it is amazingly good. Then you should come back and hear about some other podcasts. Okay, in no particular order, 5 podcasts that will cause you to feel feelings. First is A Tiny Sense of Accomplishment, a podcast on writing by some of my favorite writers, Jess Walter and Sherman Alexie. So, you know, a bunch of nobodies. Maybe it's because the writers, or maybe it's because of something else, but they care deeply about human stories, fictional or nah. Okay, second is a podcast called Song Exploder. My music knowledge basically consists of feeling music somewhere in my body, rolling with it and letting it come out in weird dance moves. And the entire time remaining clueless as to how the musicians actually made this bodily thing happen. Song Exploder explodes songs so that you can hear the artists who make the music that you listen to explain how they came to make that one piece of solid music from a whole bunch of disparate parts. Also, just one of the best things ever in life is hearing somebody talk about something that they care very much about. Like musicians with the songs that they put out into the world. Third is Dear Hank and John, the podcast run by Hank and John Green. It's a comedy podcast that mostly revolves around stuff like death and the void and, you know, hilarious stuff like that. In all seriousness, I feel like a better human, or at least I feel like I want to be a better human after I listen to Dear Hank and John. Numero 4 is Reply All, which might be my favorite podcast to listen to right now. Reply All is a podcast about the internet and about some of the crazy things that happen in weird corners of the internet. I laugh aloud at least 5 times an episode, and usually my heartstrings get played like a fiddle, so thumbs up. And last is it's like nothing I've ever heard before. It's Welcome to Night Vale, a fictional podcast about the fictional town of Night Vale. They're 2 years into it, and the story is completely out there, like sci-fi meets fantasy, but mostly it just seems like the stories that happen at your local radio station. It's like a long novel of a city told patiently 2 weeks at a time, which is fitting because there is a new Welcome to Night Vale novel coming out later this month, which I'm probably gonna review here on the channel. Alrighty, there is my 5. You've got A Tiny Sense of Accomplishment for writers, Song Exploder for lovers of music, Dear Hank and John for lovers of comedy and also death, Reply All for anyone who uses the internet, and Welcome to Night Vale for everyone else, I guess. Or just everyone in general. That's all I've got. I will see you all next week with a book review, specifically a book review of Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections, which means that I should probably finish this. I'm gonna go do that. I'll see you all next week. Best wishes! Disclaimer, today's video is not going to be a book review. Instead, I am gonna do something book related. I'm going to create myself a bookshelf. I'm gonna make myself a bookshelf. Nice work, Ryan. You're good with words. Also, check that out. What do y'all think of the new bookshelf? Not nearly enough books, you say. My bookshelf might get lonely, you say. I should go buy new books so that my bookshelf has its feelings still intact. I like you, you know? I thought this was gonna work out between us.